Come to find out, you don't need alcohol to have fun. And it's taken me a long time to realize that. Over the years, I've realized that I just don't feel good when I drink. So I've really attempted to cut back. And I got to a point where I wasn't really drinking that often, maybe a glass of wine or two a week. But as time went on, and fairly recently, like inside of the last year, they've found that really any amount of alcohol isn't any good for you. And I just experienced a lot of joy on a vacation, and I realized that after a certain amount of time, you get to be yourself, and it's incredibly enjoyable. So I just got back from, I don't know, 5 days or so in Cabo San Lucas. I've been there lots of times, and generally when I go there with a lot of great friends, and we have a fantastic time, and it's, really surrounded by pool time and food and a certain amount of alcohol. It's fun to sit around a pool. At least I thought it was fun to sit around a pool and have a few beers and have cocktails flowing, and dinner time there's margaritas, and I didn't think anything different, but about 7 months ago I decided to stop drinking, and I wasn't really committed to quit drinking. I just wanted to not drink anymore, and if the being in the situation, I wanted to have a drink, I wouldn't hesitate. I wasn't going to overdrink, certainly, and I'm certainly not preaching to not drink, because I think people should do whatever they want, whatever works for them. I just found after about, I'm going on 7 months and without any alcohol, and at about month 4 or so, maybe a little sooner than that, I really started to experience something different with not drinking. Better sleep, and just waking up without any grogginess whatsoever. Just really ready to hit the ground running when I woke up. Less inflammation in my body. When you drink, you tend to maybe eat a little differently as well, and when you have a night out of eating a little poorly and having a few cocktails, you wake up and you're not 100%. And like I said, after about 4 months, I realized that bad feeling or poor feeling or sluggish feeling goes completely away. Sleep got better, less inflammation, maybe no inflammation, no heartburn. In Cabo, I could actually eat food that normally might upset or cause heartburn, and that just didn't exist. And I actually went to Cabo thinking that I might have a few cocktails, because I wasn't about quitting alcohol. It was about really deciding just not to drink, and I'm all about health span now, and I know that any amount of alcohol can impact your health span. And so I went there with the intention of not really drinking much, but maybe having a drink, especially on my wife's 50th birthday. I really thought I would have a cocktail, a toast, and celebrate her 50th. But I was having a great time, and I wasn't really even thinking about it. I just didn't feel like having a drink. The thought of it now just doesn't appeal to my taste buds or really my desire. And like when you're drinking, you feel like you let your guard down a little bit, your inhibitions. You feel like you're more talkative and happy. And I felt that way as well until after about 4 months, a lot of that stuff was happening naturally. I wasn't guarded. I could see the humor in things. I felt comfortable and relaxed without any alcohol, so I didn't feel like I needed it for any of those things. And so I opted for a couple of fake cocktails, like Heineken Zeros, to feel like I was having a beer, but without any alcohol, and that was okay. That helped. And I had a mocktail, a virgin mojito. Again, tastes a little bit like a cocktail, but with no alcohol. I guess that serves the purpose of not having alcohol, but it's still pretty, a lot of empty calories, and um, it's still like it's a crutch. Still feeling like you're drinking, and I don't want to feel like I need a drink, and I actually am to the point where I don't. I'm rock solid with that. And again, I'm not judging people for people that want to drink. I think do whatever feels right and whatever you think you need. I just want to encourage people who think that maybe it won't be as much fun if you don't drink. I want to really change that feeling, because you can have just as much fun. Am I as much fun? Probably not. I think people probably would rather sit and laugh at somebody who's drunk and saying stupid things and doing stupid things. It's pretty funny. In fact, there were a few occasions just in this last week with friends who drank a little too much, and it changes behavior. People are different after they drink, and when you drink too much, tends to change your behavior and cause you to maybe do things that spoil your vacation a little bit. Sometimes you get to a place where maybe you don't remember the day before, and man, to spend so much money and time going to enjoy something and have so much fun and then not be able to remember it seems kind of weird to me. And I've had plenty of those days in the past, believe me. Or to feel sick or nauseous to where you can't participate, to me just seems, it kind of seems sad that we focus so much on wanting to have drinks that it could impact really our trip. And so that was eye-opening for me, and it's also wild to observe our behaviors change. Like I said, when you're completely sober, you could see and witness the conversations and the volume, and it's pretty funny. It was a little bit enjoyable in a weird way to sit back and listen to the conversation and see how silly it was, and observe the volume and how loud people get, and nobody's really listening. They're just all talking, and appears as though they're having a lot of fun, except at the end of it, when you don't remember or you're sick because of it, is it worth it? Maybe if when not drinking you're having a horrible time, but again, I'm really here to tell you that at a point you can have a good time. I mean, do you remember as children we seemed to operate daily without substance or alcohol until we get to generally some age in high school, and we tried beers and it tasted awful, but somewhere along the line you seemed to think you enjoyed them, and we became accustomed to the taste, and we strived to get that buzz because it felt fun, felt good. Same thing with wine. I remember tasting wine for the first time, and it was like, man, this is awful. And boy, I really got to a point where I really enjoyed drinking wine. In fact, I have a pretty substantial wine collection because I told myself and found that I loved wine so much and sure liked the old fashions, and kind of the mood it allowed me to feel like I was getting into. However, after drinking, I've just realized that, man, if it's going to harm my health, I don't want to do it. Because I look at going to Cabo or traveling on these trips or running around with my grandkids, and heck, even being able to race through an airport and carry luggage and not feel fatigued at all. And being 65 and reading articles about getting in your 60s and really being prohibited from doing a lot of these things you're used to, I just thought, is that worth it to enjoy wine tasting or an old fashioned or a beer. And I've just come to the conclusion I'd rather have extra time, extra years seeing the world and climbing mountains and riding bikes and being able to do all the things I wanted to do. Having alcohol, to me, it isn't worth it. I could still have fun. And that's the point of this video, is really to let you know that you can have fun without alcohol. And you just got to be able to believe and see the reason why and give it enough time to really see how much better you feel without it. I think we were tricked. All of our friends were doing it, parents were doing it. It looked like they're having parties and having a great time. And we felt like through high school and college and, our youth, we had a good time because that's what society told us, and that's what we do. We're not, and it's fine. However, we get to a point where we trick ourselves and we say it's aging. It's because we hit 40 or 50 or 60 that has been the reason why we decline, that it's the age. And I've learned that that's not necessarily the case. Certainly getting a little bit older, changes take place in your body, but I think it's our lifestyle that causes most of it. We become sedentary generally after college. We get a job where, if you have a job where you're sitting a lot, sitting at a desk, or sitting in a car, driving to work, making sales calls, that's horrible for us. And then to end the day with a cocktail or going out with friends and drinking too much, I think it just becomes the way we do things. It becomes a little bit of habit. And we do that from, after college on. And as we go 5-10 years at a time, we get to this point where after 30 years of doing that, from 20 to 50, say, man, you're feeling pretty just challenged to do all the things that you were able to do. And we say it's age. I'm learning that that's not the case. So at this point, I'm going to fight it. I'm seriously committed to taking all the action necessary that will not only increase my health span, but make my years that I live feeling younger and energized. I want to shorten the amount of pain and suffering because, I read a statistic recently that after the age of 63, that a fairly significant decline starts to occur where the quality of life starts dropping fairly drastically. So if you go by averages, speaking of a male or female, late 70s to mid 80s is the average lifespan for someone in the United States. Males are low 80s, females are a little bit higher than that. So if you're approaching 60 or in your 60s or approaching 50, that means you got 20, 30 years of health span, of lifespan. And health span starting to get impacted at the age of 63. And that's if you're not doing anything to stay active, stay healthy, keep your energy high. That means you don't have a lot of time to live and do the things you want to do. And man, if you can affect that, I struggle with understanding why anybody would want that. I understand that alcohol maybe can mask some internal pain that one has. And certainly addiction is a major part because once you feel like you're feeling better, you're going to continue it. But in the big picture, you're harming yourself. It's going to require more alcohol. You start putting on weight. Exercising becomes even more challenging to do. Because you're tired. It's all compounding, right? And I hope that I can inspire people to really get focused on making that second half of life, that second mountain. You've had a successful, happy first half of life, and we tend to think, okay, now the second half is about more freedom, but decline. And I want to encourage people to understand that, yes, there's freedom to do anything and everything you want, but it's really important to keep your health span. Heck, I don't want to be prohibited from doing the things I enjoy. It's just crazy to me. So, I saw a Andrew Huberman video a couple weeks ago that said, the maximum of a non-alcoholic adult amount of drinks they could have in a week is 2, and that's max. But knowing that any amount of alcohol increases your chances of cancer, dementia, heart disease, and that's any amounts of alcohol. Why do I need why do I need that 1 or 2 drinks? So, in the moment, if I'm somewhere and I'm on a great date with my wife Katie and we decide to have a glass of wine, I'm not going to go, oh no, I can't, I'm not drinking. It's not so much about that. I'm just going to go kind of on my energy and what I want to do at the time, knowing that I'm just not a drinker anymore, and I feel really good about it, and I trust that that in time people will understand that my choice was for me. And I think in time, if I hold solid to my commitments, that maybe people will seek some advice on what I did and what I had to do to get to this point. I think it's really important that someone who commits to a goal, whatever that is, and mine's health span, they don't flinch, because I was afraid when I stopped drinking that I was going to be made fun of a little bit, and I think people might feel uncomfortable with their own self, or maybe they have the belief that it doesn't cause any problems, or that aging, you're just going to age. And I'm poked fun at a little bit, and I feel I was a little uncomfortable with it, because maybe I was judging myself and unsure of my decision. But I got to a point where I'm completely committed and excited about how I feel and the direction I'm going. And I think combined with all the other things I'm doing, it's it's just gonna benefit me along the way. And I think that, and I'm not doing it in competition, I'm doing this completely for my own personal well-being and desire to be healthy for as long as possible. I tend to, I'm able to look out 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and 30 years and know that in 10, 15, 20, or 30 years, I'm going to really regret not doing some of these things if I'm stuck in a wheelchair, or stuck, on my couch watching TV because I don't have the energy to go on a good hike, or get on a 15-hour flight to some other part of the world to see, or if I can't pick up grandkids, or I can't do fishing, or go fishing, or play golf, or something that I want to do. I know when I'm out there at that point that I'm going to wish I did this, because that's how we are as humans. Many of us could think in terms of consequences, but most of us think in terms of immediate gratification. And I want to do this now without thinking of the potential decline or problems that it could cause. Nobody wants to get cancer. Will all of us or most of us do what's necessary to reduce those chances? I don't know. I know that Alzheimer's and dementia are increasing rapidly, and I don't know that we're all committed to doing the things to reduce those chances. I know that I'm just at the beginning of this, so I know there's a lot of other things that potentially cause some of these issues, and one by one I'm going to keep chipping away. But I'm measuring myself frequently as to how I'm feeling and my energy levels and my strength, and my blood work is done quarterly, and I check my endurance and I work on that, and my skin care and oral care, I pay really close attention to that now. I mean, do you ever notice that drinkers, they look older? Am I right? I think they are. I think heavy drinkers certainly age faster. So I've been just reflecting on, my decision, and the first 4 months, it was really an effort. Just say no, do something else, and really for the last 2 to 3 months, it's been more just not desiring it. It hasn't even been a struggle, and I've had complete amount of fun, and that's my point, is get started and get committed as to whatever your goal in life is, and just flip in, do it. No more talk. We're in October right now, and we start thinking about the end of this year and the holidays and what are our plans. But maybe we're planning some vacations, but are we planning our life and how we want to live? And do we want to see, years to come? I don't think any of us really think about problems or health challenges until all of a sudden we have them. And that's a travesty, because many things are preventative, but we're just not thinking of it. It's always that other guy. It's always one of our other friends, or somebody you read about in, online or something, that, suffered a heart attack or has, this problem or that problem. It's never us. And most things nowadays you can reduce the chances for sure. I mean, we could get hit by a bus any day, but some of the more likely causes of death, dementia and Alzheimer's, heart disease, cancers, dementia, or diabetes, those are very real and the highest causes of death, yet the most preventable if we get on top of it and stay on it and catch any issues early. We have that information now. Technology's coming at us so fast that most of these things, if we have it in our minds, we can do it. The last thing I really want to emphasize is that I think it starts with our mindsets and our belief systems, because if you don't believe that changing or increasing your health span is possible, that you're going to die when you're going to die and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think a lot of people fall to that because it requires effort and a lot of work to, change the direction of, your health span and to increase it. But if you don't believe you can, you can't. But I want to encourage you to research. There's easily, you could pull up tons of data that supports a lot of what I'm saying. And the dogs are going crazy, probably listening to me, but get to a place where your belief system, you get rid of your limited beliefs, and know and believe that it's possible. It's certainly possible to feel better today by exercising, by reducing the amount of sugar you eat, by eliminating alcohol, and by maybe doing some cardio and taking care of your daily health will make you feel better today. And if you do that recurrently, there's no doubt in my mind that you could increase your health span a little bit. And then with technology and healthcare advancing so rapidly, man, just get healthy, get super healthy today, enjoy today, fight aging, and watch yourself when you're in your 70s and 80s feeling just so good and energized and strong and like you. I mean, can you imagine being 80 and being able to do all the things you can do today? And if you're at 80 doing all the things you can do today, you're not going to die, by the kinds of causes I just discussed at 82 or 84. You're going to live much longer. And if you continue doing the things, and one thing I didn't mention is, the study of blue zones has people drinking a little bit of wine every day. But let's just say that the alcohol part is insignificant because it's just a little bit. It's the other stuff they're doing with it every day. They're laughing, they're socializing with their friends, they're not over drinking, they're playing games, they're eating whole foods and gardening themselves and walking up hills and staying just real active. If you're doing that every day and getting natural sunlight, and you're having a little bit of wine, I'm sure it's not going to infect your health span radically. But what I see is people drinking alcohol and not doing all of those things. I think that combined is the untimely death of all of us. So as I started this video, I said you can have fun when you don't drink. And I'm finally at that place where I'm having an awesome time traveling. I've been to Africa now. I've been to Cabo now, all in the last 7 months, and have had amazing times with friends and the experiences without any alcohol at all. And I'm really excited about, what's next and continuing to add different protocols to increase my health span and just make me feel better. And as I do those, I will absolutely share them with all of you. And again, I want to encourage you to do whatever you want to do. But believe me when I say that when you get to the point that you feel like you're getting older, fight that. Do all the things that are necessary to feel better, and I think your life is going to get better and your energy is going to get better as well. So here's to an awesome second half, an awesome journey, climb that second mountain and live younger, longer.